On Fridays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, join me for my talk show, The Outlander, where I answer your emails, take your calls, and interview some of the most intriguing guests on the planet. Just go to irnchat.com to interact and listen live to The Outlander show. Blasting off with some UFO reports. This first one happened in Galion, Ohio. This occurred December 5th, 2017. In brief, the witness states saw a large hovering craft on way home from store. Stopped to take video. Awesome. In more detail, the witness states, I first want to declare that I am not a UFO hunter. They put that in quotes. I'm a boring mom that works at a boring office job. When I was young, 1991, my family and I had witnessed an unidentified object up close. Ooh. So I have been intrigued, but in our family, though 4 of us saw it, we didn't talk about it until a decade later on December 5th, 2017. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. See how people go into these paranormal closets? It's very freaky. This person continues, I was coming home from the grocery store on County Road 9 in Morrow County toward Iberia. I noticed what appeared to be a huge craft of some sort with very bright individual lights going around the whole side circumference. It was maybe a half mile away. Half to a half, I swear that's what they put. And hovering not far above the tree line. After driving for a mile, maybe, looking to my east, I found a clear line of sight and stopped my car to the side of the road. I snapped a pic to show how bright it was in comparison to the very bright moon, then started video on my Galaxy 7 phone. I held my phone up recording, but was looking with my naked eye, as it was a much clearer, closer appearing in person. I watched the circular craft hover over a field-wooded area, and it started to tilt a bit forward in the direction of movement, north, and slowly appeared to get closer. I got nervous at this point. The aircraft went behind a tree that was in my line of sight toward the end of the video, which gives the appearance of flickering light from the branches, but the light remained constant, almost blinding in the night sky. A vehicle came up behind me as the aircraft became less visible, then disappeared abruptly. I started to drive again, feeling rushed by the vehicle behind me. I kept looking, but the object was nowhere to be found. Immediately, 2 low-flying jet planes flew over and seemed like they were barely above the telephone poles. Later, reviewing my video, I noticed a red flashing light, which I assumed was maybe a tower blinking in the distance, since the object I viewed did not have any red lights. After researching some more, I realized that there was no tower in the area, so the flashing lights must have been the low-flying jet planes beyond the aircraft off in the distance. I'm anxious to see if anyone can clean up my fuzzy video. It looks so much further than it was in person, and it wasn't grainy like the video. The next UFO sighting, this happened in Queensbury, New York, November 9th, 2017. In brief, the witness states, UFO with green windows. Well, that's jazzy. In more detail, the witness states on November 9th, 2017, at approximately 6:45 p.m., a couple of relatives who wish to remain anonymous say a UFO or phenomena that they cannot explain. Names have been changed from here on as husband Randy and wife Mindy. Oh, I like that. Mindy and Randy. The couple were just getting home from dinner. As they were entering the house, Randy went in, but Mindy was just behind him when she saw some lights above a tree line. She couldn't believe what she was seeing, so she called him to come out. He obliged. They both observed an object about 20 to 30 feet long above a tree line. It was night, so they could not see an outline. They can approximate the length because it had approximately 6 green lights that they described as looking like windows several feet apart. The window had no sound, or the object had no sound, oops, and it was hovering at the same height the whole time. As the object hovered, was emanating, sending lights were just amazing. They can hardly describe what they saw. They weren't lasers because they were not straight. The lights were continuous, but were also like corkscrews, almost like fireworks, except for the fact that they were continuous, constant the whole distance. They were going across the street into their neighbor's yard and going through the trees in all directions. After about 3 minutes of observing this and being mesmerized, Randy went into the house. It was freaking him out and didn't want to have anything to do with it any longer. Oh, poor guy. Mindy stayed out for another 30 seconds. She's the brave one. I'm just kidding. But while she did, she started looking around in all directions. She was trying to see if anyone else was outside and if there was anything else happening in other places. She didn't want to give up looking for explanations. While doing this, she looked up the street and other directions, which is to the northeast. She saw a green, same color, glowing ball of light, very bright and estimating the size of a bowling ball. It was floating at about eye level. She tried to get Randy to come back out to see that, but he chose not to. Then it flashed like a camera flash and then just disappeared right in front of her eyes. It didn't fly away. It just vanished. After this happened, she went to look at the other object and it was gone. Randy and Mindy are still blown away by what they saw. There is no explanation. Drones? No. Methane gas from a leak field? No. Laser beam light show? No. There is nothing in their combined 127 years that even comes close. I believe they saw something based on their reaction that night and continued amazement. I live right behind them, so they called right after it, happened to ask me if I saw it, but was not home at the time. I could sense the concern and confusion in their voices. Family relatives of witnesses as an artist, the rendering of what we described here, they said, it is very accurate. Ooh, wow. Very cool, very cool. All right, this next UFO sighting occurred in Genoa, Wisconsin, January 8th, 2018. In brief, the witness states, stationary flashing lights, military aircraft zigzagging loudly near object, second identical object to the south. In more detail, noticed loud aircraft noises outside and saw 2 aircraft rapidly zigzagging or figure of 8. Watch for 15 seconds before out of sight, but notice flashing white, blue, green, red lights like a star but brighter. In same region aircraft were seen. Got in car to go to top of ridge to observe as no towers or other sources we could think of for source. Car acted very strangely. Would not start. Was turning over well and would continue to turn over without hand on key ignition. Oh. Newer 2014 vehicle, well maintained, kept in heated garage, never with battery issues. Took different car which did start. On top of ridge, observed object through binoculars, however, still appeared too distant to see details. Could only notice rapidly flashing blue, yellow, white, green, and red lights. Did not appear to be moving relative to horizon or stars. No further aircraft observed. Returned home and noticed identical object, light pattern to south. Have never witnessed similar event in past nor the aircraft that low in this area. Also have never seen pattern of light aircraft were performing. Continue to check, but lights remain present for 2 hours. Woo! All right, this next one. UFO sighting in Cumming, Georgia. Ooh, this is a slight UFO blast from the past. This happened August 13th, 2013. Oh, wow. Um, I'll just read this. In brief, the witness states, I kissed an angel on the cheek. The power died to a candle, and it flew out of the home. This is after a stoning. What? What is this? Okay, anyways, we're going to continue. My 4-year-old son made me a stone for Father's Day in a church. It said, Dad rocks. Okay, that's cute. A year later, I was coming out of the bathroom and she hit me in the head with it. Oh boy. A year later, I had an open heart surgery and died on the table. I was lifted up, out of body. When I got back to her, an angel, this is a picture on the wall of a man's face, was halfway out of this picture. It kept talking to me, so one night I came out of the bathroom and kissed it and said, Jesus loves you. It will be okay. That night the power died to a candlelight on a ball one time. Two came through the bedroom and out towards the west it flew. A man a few homes up was filming one already above the home. Then the one from inside my home flew up. Huh? You can see it on YouTube under UFO Coming in Georgia, 2013. Please help. Okay, I'm confused. It sounds like they're describing something was in the house and it flew out. Eh? Right after they kissed a painting and said Jesus loves you. Okay. 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 That's fascinating. Personally, I have seen orbs in the house for myself that flew out the window, out of an open window. So maybe that's what they're trying to describe. I'm not sure. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Oh, cool. Alien encounter in Chicago, right where I'm at. This happened March 20th, 2004. Aliens all around me. In more detail, the witness states, I was laying down in my house on my floor, and I was about to fall asleep when I lay down on the floor. I closed my eyes. When I opened my eyes, I saw 6 to 8 aliens all around me, looking down at me. I don't remember what happened after that, but now I feel really, really bad inside, and I can see it watching me wherever I go. I can feel it in my body every night. I can't sleep. I have had bad demonic attacks all the time, day and night. They tried to kill me, but God will let me go. God protecting me, and it's still around me everywhere I go. It's around me right now while I'm writing this comment. Can you please help me? It's more to it than that. People can feel something around me, and I'm not normal. Everywhere I go, I feel terrible. I can't interact with people or life anymore. I don't want to die, but I can't keep living like this. Can you please help me? They attacked my fiance. They attacked my body, mind, and soul, and attacking my spirit. Please, can you help me? I don't know what else to do. Oh, that's devastating. You know, I reserve honestly for myself, if this was an email sent to myself, I would respond as such to say that a lot of these beings that are said to abduct people, they abduct souls as well, and they are not considered to be very positive beings. Abductions, when is that okay? That word, to have abducted something, that means to take without permission, right? Not good. Personally, wrote a book called The Secret War. And yeah, I kind of relate these the more negative beings that do horrible things to people, as being related to demonic folks. And I've spoken to people involved in MUFON and other organizations that agree that there is something to these beings as being negative. And if this person would so happen to be listening, I would say, write me. I will definitely address it. Hopefully somebody's reaching out to you through this service here. Alrighty, moving on. Sighting in Springfield, Ohio. This occurred January 9th, 2018. Boomerang-looking thing. 3 headlights, looking lights, smaller red lights, and back moved, but never changed direction. In more detail, the witness states, driving east on I-70 in Ohio at approximately 6:30 p.m., mile marker 47.5, saw large boomerang-shaped plane-looking thing. The rest of traffic must have also noticed, as everyone was drifting lanes staring at the object. At first I thought it must have been a very large, tall street light, but as I got closer I noticed it was not on a pole, and was much farther into the air, and was above a dark field, nowhere near any street. Did not think to take pictures, just kept going. It was hovering over there with the white lights towards the front and of the boomerang, and as I continued on, before getting up to where the thing was, it started slowly moving southbound, still facing its white lights dead to the west. It was like it was on ice, slowly gliding sideways. Did not turn or lean when it moved, and made no sound as I approached the section of the highway nearest it. It was still moving southbound, but then white lights, still facing west, started moving quickly at what looked like east-southeast without turning the light side in that direction. I looked up and back to see if I could see it, and all I saw were small red lights facing the eastern direction, as if it was still facing west and was moving around without turning to face its direction of motion. On the front of it you could see small vertical lines of different colors than the body of the object, but I couldn't tell it was those lines of windows or not. Nothing else could be seen on that side other than the shape, lights, lines, and the back inner side of the boomerang. You only saw small, dim, red lights. Nothing comparable in brightness to the bright white front lights. I only noticed the object because I was looking for a sign for a gas station truck stop that usually tower near the exit. I felt like I may have been a plane at first landing directly towards me, but once it slid sideways and started moving backwards, I knew there was no way it was a plane. I lost sight of it as I kept driving and did not stop. I don't know if the object stayed in the area, and its movements were pretty slow. I thought it might have been a helicopter, but then I realized if it was a helicopter, the three vertical lights would have tilted, raised, and lowered to be able to move into and around the air, and this object remained flat and facing west the entire time it was moving. I didn't think to take any pictures, and my dash camera is not installed in my current vehicle, as I've just switched vehicles. I'll do my best to make a sketch, and hopefully one of the other motorists on the road thought to take pictures or video. Can you imagine? Imagine a whole highway, seen this freeway. Wow, that's amazing. I would find it difficult not to pull over. I know it's not the safest thing. Okay, moving on. UFO sighting in Parker, Colorado. This happened December 30th, 2017. Invisible object appears in iPhone photos. Huh, that's wild. In more detail, the witness states, while standing with me on the open balcony of her apartment, my daughter took the attached digital iPhone photo of a colorful cloud formation around the sun. Upon examining the four photos immediately afterwards, we saw that a circular object or orb appears in each photo. An interesting fact is that we did not see the object visually. We cannot say conclusively that it was invisible to the naked eye, but we did not see it, and we think we should have been able to have seen it visible. The object is clearly moving left to right, roughly east to west, based on the first two photos showing it over a rooftop. Based on the last two photos, it apparently increased markedly in altitude and moved from right to left while gaining altitude. Again, looking at the first two photos, it appears that the object is solid because it obscures a tiny portion of the cloud behind it. In the last two photos, the object displays an obvious aura that may be indicative of radiated heat or energy. The episode lasted less than 30 seconds, as she took the photos in quick succession. If there were any probable, natural, conventional explanations, we would be pleased to be advised accordingly. Well, alrighty then. All right, the next UFO sighting. This happened in Elko, Nevada. Slight UFO blast from the past. This occurred April 1st, 2015. The witness states, I have a video. It's a cube. The Borg have arrived. Sitting in a friend's car smoking a cigarette, we're in my parking lot. A small orb appears floating over our laps. I started checking windows, assuming something like a laser pointer. I know lasers don't work that way. The light reassembles a warm light bulb in a dark room. I think they resembles. Oops, glowing, but with no visible radius. Finally, decide to look up and see how UFO cubes are formed. This is the original shot in a Carl Zeiss Windows Phone. The other file I've uploaded has contrast enhanced. Okie dokie. All right, the next UFO sighting. This occurred Austin, Texas, January 12th, 2018. In brief, they state, observed what looked like a non-moving shooting star. May have emitted small contrail, may have been moving very slowly. In more detail, they state, I was driving south on Mopoc Highway approaching Slaughter Lane. There the road rises in such a way that the drivers have a pretty clear view of a large part of the sky to the south-southwest. The sky was clear and the object pretty noticeable. I first thought it was a sundog, then thought it was a jet, leaving a small contrail. However, as I watched it, I realized it wasn't moving as a jet would. It seemed to me that it was moving extremely slowly or motionless. I would have described as looking like a jet-type object creating an extremely wide but also extremely short contrail. I don't think it was moving. I was curious what it was, but had no other emotional reaction, etc. I turned off of Mopoc and headed west on Slaughter Lane. There are more trees and commercial buildings, and I could not see it anymore. It was below the horizon. I live within a mile of that intersection. By 2:45 p.m., I could not see it in the sky there. Well, wow. Okay. The next UFO sighting. Oh boy, this happened in PJ, Kosovo, January 12th, 2018. The witness states, firstly, I'm passionate about astronomy, universe, and all those things. So I was going out at 12 p.m. and looked up and saw lights coming, like from below somewhere, but it was far from me. And they just come up like straight and took it to the right direction, like 7 or 8 of them. And I immediately took the phone and I made pictures and one video, but needs to zoom out to see the pictures. Also, I made pictures with red circles to be more easy to notice where they are. How I lost sight. They come up from below and took the right direction, just going up and disappeared in clouds. Also, one friend of mine said that he saw in that direction before 5 or 6 months. So when I saw, I was surprised and wanted to happen something, okay, like this. This is put through Google Translation, I think. And to make a picture and show to the people because most of them say no, it wasn't. Just it seems to you maybe was something else, but it isn't the first time that I saw. I have seen several times. Also in the mountain it appeared like a light, and after 10 seconds it disappeared. This description is of what I saw. Wasn't that special? Oh, that's cool. I like when people take the time. Even though English might not be the first language, it's all good. It's all good. I am figuring this stuff out as we go along. I do not edit this. All right. We have a very fascinating article to read. It's called Scientists Explain Insights from Ancient Tibetan Ice Core. A short film about an expedition in Tibet's Gulye or Gilia Glacier, where scientists drilled a Stone Age ice core going back 600,000 years. All right, the article reads, this short film above provides an overview of an autumn 2015 expedition to the Gulaya Glacier in Tibet, which scientists drilled ice cores that could yield some of the oldest ice yet found on Earth outside of the polar regions. BPCRC media specialist Pam Theodore created the film using field footage collected by expedition member Galiano Bertagna. Scientists discussed their analysis of one of the cores drilled on this expedition earlier this month, which was actually December 14, 2017, at the annual American Geophysical Union meeting in New Orleans. The ice at the bottom of this core appears to have formed during the Stone Age, more than 600,000 years ago, long before modern humans appeared. Researchers from the United States and China have been studying the core, which is nearly as long as the Empire State Building is tall, to assemble one of the longest ever records of Earth's climate history. Gulya Glacier is located in Tibet's western Kunlun Mountains, one of the Earth's largest supplies of freshwater ice outside of the Arctic and Antarctica. In 2015, the research team drilled through the ice cap until they hit bedrock in order to obtain this very ancient ice. They recovered 5 ice cores, the longest of which is more than 1,000 or 300 meters long. The cores are composed of compressed layers of snow and ice that settled on the western Kunlun Mountains year after year long ago. In each layer, the ice captured chemicals from the air and precipitation during wet and dry seasons. Today's researchers are able to analyze the chemistry of the different layers to measure historical changes in climate changes. Lonnie Thompson of Ohio State University was co-leader of the international research team that obtained the cores. He reported at the AGU meeting that the new data from these cores lend support to computer models of projected climate changes, providing dramatic evidence of a recent and rapid temperature rise at some of the highest, coldest mountain peaks in the world. Thompson said in a statement, the ice cores actually demonstrate that warming is happening and is already having detrimental effects on Earth's freshwater ice stores. The researchers reported that there has been a persistent increase in both temperature and precipitation in Tibet's Kunlun Mountains over the past few centuries. In this region, the average temperature has risen 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit or 1.5 degrees Celsius in the last 50 years, and the average precipitation has risen by 2.1 inches per year over the past 25 years. Of particular interest in the research is the projection from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that future temperatures on the planet will rise faster at high altitudes than they will at sea level. Thompson said, generally, the higher the elevation, the greater the rate of warming that's taking place. The scientists pointed out that around the world, hundreds of millions of people depend on high-altitude glaciers for their water supply. The Gulya Glacier is one of many Tibetan plateau ice caches that provide fresh water to Central, South, and Southeast Asia. Thompson said there are over 46,000 mountain glaciers in that part of the world, and they are the water source for major rivers. The oldest ice core drilled in the Northern Hemisphere was found in Greenland in 2004 by the North Greenland Ice Core Project and was dated to roughly 120,000 years, while the oldest continuous ice core record recovered on Earth to date is from Antarctica and extends back 800,000. Over the next few months, the American and Chinese research teams will analyze the chemistry of the Gulya Glacier ice core in even more detail. They will look for evidence of temperature changes caused by ocean circulation patterns in both the North Atlantic and tropical Pacific Oceans, which drive precipitation in Tibet as well as the Indian monsoons. For instance, one important driver of global temperatures, El Niño, leaves its chemical mark in the snow that falls on tropical glaciers. Bottom line, U.S. and Chinese researchers report of their analysis of the oldest ice core ever drilled outside the polar regions for the Gulya Glacier in Tibet's Kunlun Mountains. The ice appears to contain more than 500,000 years of climate history. Well, thank you so very much for listening to UFO Headline News with me, Heidi Hollis. Be sure to check out UFOHeadlineNews.com every single day. And also tune into my other weekly show, The Outlander, on Fridays, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and catch my paranormal comic strip, The Outlanders. Just go to theoutlanderscomic.com, and direct links can be found on my main website, HeidiHollis.com.